They say you are what you eat, which is terrifying because most of us have no idea what's actually inside these. I have 3 contenders today. Number 1, the grass-fed steak, which apparently lived a better life than I do. Number 2, the standard grain-fed, and our favorite, this chuck roast. It's basically 40% mystery and 60% good luck chewing. By the end of this video, you're going to find out 3 things. Number 1, the cost of the label, $27. Does that premium grass-fed price tag actually buy you better muscle structure or just a better ego? And number 2, we're going to see exactly what marbling looks like at 1,000 times under the scope. Is it fuel or is it just filler? And finally, number 3, the gristle reveal. I'm going to show you why your jaw hurts after eating this cheap steak by uncovering the collagen cables hidden in the chuck. Let's get to these slides. Okay, starting out with the chuck steak. It's an affordable steak. And I got it from Sprouts here in, I live in California, so it's well known for good meat, their butcher. And this cut is taken from the shoulder. It's pretty flavorful, but we'll see. Let's take a cut off. The thinner, the better, but not too thin. I want to see through the lens on the bottom of my scope. So here we go. Okay, so we're starting out at 40 times, you guys. This is a standard piece of chuck steak, as you can see. At this magnification, you can clearly see the muscle bundles. These thick areas are the fascicles. And all that white space in between is the intramuscular fat. You can see how the fat is integrated right into the tissue. This is basically the structural layout of the meat before we start digging into the cellular level. So let's bump this up to 100 times. As you can see, the individual fibers are starting to become visible now. You can see the connective tissue, the collagen, wrapping around the muscle groups. In a cut like chuck, this connective tissue is much denser than what you normally see in a tenderloin. That's why the texture is so different. It's a lot of biological mesh, you guys. It's holding everything together. So at 400 times, we can actually see the striations. Look at the horizontal lines running across the fibers. Those are sarcomeres. This is a microscopic machinery that handles muscle contraction. When you apply heat to this, these proteins denature and tighten up, which is exactly why meat changes texture as it cooks. What you're seeing is the actual units of protein that make up the bulk of the steak. Now we're at 1,000 times, and this is about as deep as we can go with the setup. With the immersion oil, we're looking directly at the myofibrils now. At this scale, you can see the complexity of the protein lattice. It's basically just a massive organized grid of tissue. Just think, you guys, it's really easy to forget that this is what you're actually eating until you see this at this magnification. It's just a raw look at the data. Okay, now here is the grass-fed ribeye. I'm gonna hold it up for you guys so you can see it. It looks pretty good. And like I said, it's from Sprouts. It's a pretty well-known store here in California. It's a nice butcher shop. So I am going to take a sample. I'm going to use a razor blade. Let's see. I want to get basically the middle part. I don't want to go too deep or the surface. And also I'm going to take a sample from the end so you guys get a couple views. The hard part about this is you can't go too thick or even too thin. So with this cover slip, I'm going to use a toothpick. I'm going to push down on it to basically, it's, levels out my cover slip. And at the same time, it kind of loosens and shows the juices. And also on this slide here, or this sample, which was the middle, let me push down a little bit on this so you guys can get a good view. And then we'll go to the microscope. A little bit more here. So there's a lot of time and effort into prepping these slides. Okay, so look, you guys, we just saw what happens when a cow spends its life standing in a trough eating corn. That chuck steak was a lipid nightmare. Now, let's look at the heavy hitter here. This is a ribeye, but it's grass-fed. Macroscopically, you can see the difference immediately. It's a deep, dark red, almost like a garnet. There isn't that thick, white spider web of fat we're used to seeing in a standard ribeye. It's dense, I get it, it's lean. So 40 times, organization is the first thing that hits you. In the chuck steak, the protein was practically drowning in white space. But look at this ribeye, it's a grid. These are tightly packed fascicles, bundles of muscle fibers that look like a dense red forest. Even for a ribeye, there are no massive fat islands breaking up in the landscape here, you guys. It looks like a working muscle, not a storage unit for excess calories. It's clean, it's uniform, and honestly, it's a lot easier to focus the lens when you aren't fighting through a layer of grease. So bumping this up to 100 times, focus on the white lines between the red. That's a paramecium. In our last test, that connective tissue was bulging with intramuscular fat. In this grass-fed sample, it's like a thin iron-clad wrapper. This animal actually moved. You can see the tension in the fibers. It's a high contrast image because the iron-rich myoglobin in the meat is so much more concentrated. It's almost a purple hue under this light. And forensically, this looks like a completely different product compared to that greasy chuck we just pulled off the side. So now we're getting into the engine room at 400 times. And look at the stripes. Those are striations of the skeletal muscle. In the chuck, these were blurry and distorted because the fat cells were literally squishing the protein. Here, the stripes are crisp. This is the molecular machinery of an animal that foraged for its food, you guys. It's a lean, high-performance tissue. You can also see the lack of yellow-tinted lipids, which are fats, which usually plague grain-fed samples. It's just pure, red-blooded protein. You know, it's fascinating how much noise we're used to seeing in supermarket meat that just isn't present in pasture-raised ribeye. So finally, the 1,000 times oil immersion. We are deep in the weeds now, guys. Look at those individual myofibrils. They look like cables. In the grain-fed presentation, this view was constantly interrupted by stray fat droplets that made the whole thing look fuzzy. This grass-fed ribeye is very clinical. It's sharp. You're looking at the actual biological building blocks of a clean protein source. There's no chemical glue or excess storage, just the structural reality of nature, the way it's supposed to be. It's very impressive, but it also explains why the stuff can be a little tougher to chew if you overcook it. So there it is, ribeye. Chuck steak versus grass-fed ribeye. One is a science project of surplus. The other is a study in density. The scope doesn't care about the marketing on the package, you guys. It only cares about the cells. And today, the cells told the truth. Okay, so here we are. This is the grain-fed steak, ribeye, same cut, same store, which was Sprouts. Looks pretty good. Looked really good on the grill. A lot of fat, you can see it. But I'm going to use a razor blade like I did before. And I'm going to go as deep as I can, mainly in the center, almost in the center here, to get a good view for you guys. It's really important to be careful not to mess up the fibers as much as you can. So I'm trying my best here. But I really want to show you guys what it takes to prep these slides with either chicken, meat, or whatever. So it takes time. Let me grab some tweezers. I'm going to pull this out and cut a little small, thin slice. The thinner, the better, because the light on my microscope underneath it, it shines through the meat. If it's too thick, all you see is a big red blob. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to cut an end piece for you guys. It might be a little different. I want to show you all parts of this steak. So again, be really careful. Take some tweezers. I'm going to use this right here. So now on the slide, I have the center piece on the right and the end piece is on the left. So I'm going to take a cover slip right here. I'm going to use, again, a toothpick. I'm going to cover this and I'm going to push down on the toothpick with a toothpick on the slide with the cover. So I don't want to break the cover, of course, but this will actually release the juices. And same thing on this one here. I'm going to take a cover slip and do the same thing. We can move to the scope. A little bit more on this one. All right. We just saw the clean version. Now let's look at the standard. This is your typical supermarket grain-fed steak. And right off the bat, you guys, you can see it's paler, softer, marbled with that white fat we've been told is the good stuff. But under the scope, marbling usually just looks like biological clutter. And as you can see, 40 times, the difference is night and day. Remember, that forest of fibers from the grass-fed, that's gone. Here, the landscape is broken up. You see those clear amorphous blobs everywhere? That's intramuscular fat, lipids, literally pushing the muscle fibers apart.
It's not a tight grid anymore. It's a chaotic mosaic. The structure is loose, and you can see why this cut has that tender mouthfeel. It's not because the meat is better. It's because the structural integrity of the muscle has been compromised by a high-calorie, sedentary lifestyle. It's a science project of excess. So we're pushing this to 100 times. Now look at the connective tissue here. In the last sample, it was a thin, tight wrapper. Here, it's bloated. Those white areas are saturated with stored energy, which is fat. This cow didn't have to work for a living, and it shows in the cells. The protein bundles look shaggy and less defined. It's fascinating, but also it's a little gross when you realize this is a choice grade we're all buying. So let's bump this up to 400 times, and we should see these crisp cables and stripes. Instead, it's like looking through a foggy window. Those striations, the actual muscle machinery, look blurred. They're being crowded out by lipid droplets that are embedded directly into the protein matrix. In the forensic world, we'll call that a noisy sample. There's so much biological junk in the way that it's hard to find a clean strand of muscle. Don't get me wrong, it's tender, sure, but it's structurally weak compared to that grass-fed engine we just looked at. Finally, the 1,000 times the kill shot. At this level, it's an oil slick. You can see the individual myofibrils, but they're practically swimming in lipids. It lacks that cable-like density of the forged raised animal. It's a softer, more engineered version of a biological product. You're looking at the difference between an athlete and a couch potato at a molecular level. So, there's data. Grain-fed is built for taste and profit, not for structural density. The scope doesn't lie, you guys. One is a machine, the other is a storage unit. Okay, so here's the side-by-side comparison we've all been waiting for. On the far left, we've got that chuck steak. Look, I'm just going to say it. It's a disaster. It looks less like a steak and more like a biological storage unit. You guys see those big clear blobs? That's not flavor. That's just a lazy amorphous liquid swamp. The muscle fibers are basically gasping for air in there. If this cow had a gym membership, it definitely hasn't scanned its badge in years. Now, look at the center. The grass-fed. This is the overachiever of the group. Look at those fibers. They're tight, they're organized, and they're carrying that deep red pigment like a badge of honor. There are no fat islands here, just pure ironclad discipline. This animal actually mooed for a living. Forensically speaking, this is a Ferrari of the three. It's dense, it's clean, and it's clearly the winner if you're actually looking for fuel and not just filler. Then we have the standard grain-fed on the right. It's the participation trophy of beef. You can see the muscle trying to stay organized, you guys, but it's getting crowded out by those shaggy little liquid droplets. It's just a softer, blurred out version of the grass-fed. It's what happens when you take a perfectly good athlete and put them on a diet of nothing but corn and couches for the final semester. So there you have it. The scope doesn't have a favorite, but I do. You want the engine in the middle, not the swamp on the left. Look, the data is right there on your screen. We pay more money for grass-fed for a reason. It's not just marketing. It's a better biological product. You are what your food eats. So choose wisely.
Okay, wow, welcome back. If I just saved your wallet or ruined your appetite, hit that subscribe button. And if you think this was gross, go check out this chicken nugget video I made with my grandson Carson. We found things in there that'll make you want to become a vegetarian. Trust me. I'm Mr. Bill, and I'm going to wash my hands for the 9th time. And one last thing, be kind to one another.